Hello and welcome to Don't Bury the Lead. We recap WWE SmackDown every Friday night after the bell. Except for tonight is a special night because we're doing a pre-show for the Royal Rumble. So what we're going to do tonight is go through some cheap heat, what we typically will do in our cheap heat segment, and a preview. My name is John Zindel. I'm joined by Dom Scarcella. Dom, go ahead and tell the people a little bit about yourself.
It's been a crazy 24 hours here. We went live with a little extra cheap heat last night after SmackDown because news of Vince McMahon resigning, apparently under duress, from TKO Corporation. But we didn't want to just do all the cheap heat last night because we wanted to save some for now, the Royal Rumble pre-show. It's cheap. It's heat. It's cheap heat.
That's right.
And
And
we've got
Dom,
the Rock right up there. We're going to go lightning round for some stories that are probably more pleasant for the WWE than Vince McMahon's sexual escapades.
yeah,
And
we've
and
covered that at nauseum already, and I think a lot of people have. So we're going to be touching on the other topics here.
Go to YouTube, find our channel on YouTube. If you're watching us on another platform, the video is there, not only the live, but also two videos just in the video archive there. More of the full everything, and then another 2-minute that just went up today. So yeah, all that's up there, right?
Yep. And
Beautiful. Let's talk better news than that, or at least more positive news. How about The Rock? He's teasing a potential WrestleMania versus Roman Reigns in the course of also talking about joining the TKO board. He's doing this on ESPN with Stephen A. Smith. It's First Take. We've covered Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman on First Take before. So Stephen A. Smith, no stranger to pro wrestling, and especially since his co-host for this particular show is someone we've also talked about. It was Shannon Sharp. Now that he's moved on from the show on FS1, what do you think of The Rock? Both talking about a possible WrestleMania matchup against Roman Reigns, and appearing on Stephen A. Smith here, talking up being on the board here. Whichever one of those is more interesting to you. What say you here?
well, I guess we could start really with The Rock really talking about, going after Roman Reigns' title at WrestleMania. I think there's been a lot of discussion about that, right, on the internet, let's
Mm-hmm.
just say. And like, should it be Cody? Should it be The Rock? I am in the mindset I would like The Rock coming back and winning the title. But we'll have to
Winning the
see.
title, okay.
But we'll have to see. And I think you proved, like, you had a good point. Like, we haven't seen this guy wrestle in ages, in like 5-6 years.
Mm-hmm.
So is he going to go in there in the main event of WrestleMania and be like, a winded old man? I mean, I know he's gigantic and in great shape, but
Uh-huh.
like, is he still going to be able to really understand what he's doing in there?
Ring shape is different, right? You know this from being an indie pro wrestler. I mean, you can be
Yeah.
jacked and you can be able to do a movie, but sometimes being too jacked is a problem. You're carrying too much weight. You don't have your wind. So he also did not mention which WrestleMania. It could be something for WrestleMania 41.
Right.
It could be. I mean, Paul Heyman has said they were in like the third inning of the Bloodline story a few months ago. So maybe this is going to go with or without the belt for Roman for another year beyond this one. So I mean, he didn't mention this one, but would you like to see The Rock give it a go?
Yeah. I mean,
All right.
for sure, to bring him back into it, just the two appearances he had, he tore it up on the mic, and
Mm-hmm.
he's an all time great. So
People still love him. He gets huge pops, and he's going to be on the board of directors for TKO Group. And we did see on the screen there from Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp was joining that program. There he is, right there, joining the program remotely. There's Shannon Sharp right there. So, hey, how about next story here? Netflix is getting Raw. 10-year, $5 billion plus deal. This comes to us from Deadline. They also mentioned this on SmackDown last night. Interesting thing here. I've heard people say that Netflix is probably the best positioned of all the streaming platforms, simply because their business model seems to be the best. Almost everybody else is losing money on their streaming services, and so Netflix might be the strongest brand here for streaming, and they wanted to jump into the storytelling side of sports. And so WWE Raw is basically right in that sweet spot, right? It's
Yeah.
sports, it's athletic, it's live programming, but it's so story based. This is good for Netflix and good for WWE, or is it sort of a one sided deal, or is it a no sided deal where you think each of them are getting a no pun intended Raw deal?
Well, I'll tell you what, you move from the USA Network
Mm-hmm.
to Netflix, that's massive, right? I
It can
mean,
be.
I think I saw something where as many people are subscribed to Netflix as have cable currently in the US. So
Wow.
you're looking at a thing where everyone a lot of people have Netflix, and there'll probably be more eyeballs on it. I know currently Netflix doesn't really have anything streaming though, so I don't know if they're going to start including advertising with the streaming or how they'll go about it.
Hmm.
But I mean, look at the dollar amount. They're getting 500 million for one of their shows a year, right? Is that the figure?
Yeah, it looked like it said 10-year, 5 billion plus.
Even if Netflix opts out that and that excuse me.
I don't know if they could opt out too much here. I mean, it shows that Netflix is in this for the long haul, right? I mean, anytime a 10-year deal is on the table.
Yeah, and think about $500 million for one of their shows. It's not even like they're getting SmackDown and NXT. It's not like they're getting like everything. It's just one. So
They are getting some additional. Starting
oh
in January 2025, Netflix will now be the exclusive home of Raw in the US, Canada, UK, and Latin America. Um, Additional territories will be added over time. Along with the Raw programming, Netflix will become the home for all WWE shows and specials outside the US, including other weekly shows SmackDown and NXT. It will also stream the company's roster of live events like WrestleMania, SummerSlam, WWE documentaries outside the US. So Peacock, via the WWE Hub, still has domestic rights. But Netflix is getting Raw, and it's also their foothold into internationally a lot more of WWE programming here. Netflix is in this for the long haul, and they went big here, right?
yeah, really.
This has got to be a
Um,
confidence boost for each property, right? For WWE and for Netflix, this shows a lot of confidence, right?
yeah, I mean,
Do you have Netflix?
I do have Netflix.
Okay, I do not. This will be
Uh,
something new for me.
so I do have Netflix, and years ago it was pretty amazing. And I think since it's kind of fallen off, but the price point's pretty low. And then in
Okay.
addition to that, you share passports with people. So that's really the benefit of Netflix. But I'd have to say on this note though, like it's impressive that they were able to pull this deal off. And even like thinking of the AEW side, I know there was rumors of like Warner Brothers kind of being bid out to Raw, and that would
Mhm.
really screw AEW over. So this is only going to be good for AEW and other wrestling promotions. Where if Raw is getting 500 million a year, we can get some of that, right? A portion of that with other, you know, if they set that benchmark, right? And
Mhm.
that's gonna be good news for Tony Khan when he negotiates with Warner Brothers.
Yeah, because the people who've been left out of the WWE scramble, who may still be interested in top quality pro wrestling, AEW is sort of next man up, right?
Yeah,
We see this
exactly.
in other professional sports when with free agent deals, like the top free agent signs, and now like, okay, who's now the top free agent, and that guy is up for a big contract, right?
Right, exactly. It's a great analogy.
This is Eric July here, by the way, from his streaming platform. Eric July got known as a musician and then a sort of a comic book and video game commentator. He was all over this story as well, and I'm sure it's everywhere else. I just happened to find Eric July's just from being aware of his content in the space there in the commentary space. Um, so he was all over this as well. This was a big deal. On to the next one that also has a positive spin on it for WWE. Love and WWE, Bianca Belair and Montez Ford. They are a married couple in the WWE. They're getting a new reality show in the vein of Total Bellas to Ms. and Mrs. It's going to be on Hulu. Love and WWE. Bianca and Montez following Bianca Belair, real name Bianca Blair, so that's kind of close. And Montez Ford, real name Kenneth Copeland. That's kind of far. But, hey, they're real people. And they're saying they're going to try and it doesn't get too real as it maintains some of the full reality of wrestling. And the idea that wrestlers don't know what is going to happen. This is from the Wrap, so it's not from a real wrestling promotion. So they got to do like the wink, wink, like, hey, wrestling, it's not real.
Yeah.
But have you ever seen some of these reality shows that the WWE's put out? I have not. Full disclosure, I've never seen any of them. This apparently is good news for people who like this genre of entertainment. They're big words, genre, even though it's only 5 letters. I would not watch this, but if there's a market out there for this, what do you think about Bianca and Montez being the next ones up to get a show like this?
This is good reality TV show slop, right?
Apparently, it looks like it shows the run up to 2023's WrestleMania. So the footage is almost a year old at this point, but fun to watch, fun to reminisce, even if you're a current fan.
So I can remember like a decade ago, after Raw or after SmackDown, there was a show called Total Divas. And
Okay.
it basically just was the Kardashians, kind of that style of a TV show, but they had all of the WWE women's wrestlers back when they were divas. So
Okay.
it was one of these reality TV shows.
There you go.
But and it wasn't too bad. I mean, it's junk food TV, but it wasn't like too offensive. And like if you're gonna watch it for a couple minutes, it's not too bad. I will.
Okay, well, here's the Hulu trailer from Hulu's YouTube channel here, being played on screen. Both tremendous athletes,
Yes.
but both could have long careers ahead of them in the WWE. So hopefully this reality show stuff doesn't become a curse for them. Like the curse of the Madden cover in the
Yeah.
NFL or something. The curse of the reality TV show.
Yeah.
Um, all best of them. This is fun stuff. So that was our positive news from the WWE. Let's talk AEW and injury news. Kenny Omega, potential surgery. In December, he announced he would be out indefinitely. This is from about 5 days ago. This is WrestleZone here, piecing together a Wrestling Observer Media radio with Dave Meltzer and Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful, that Omega had still not had surgery. He may be putting it off. His apparently his condition was so bad that they could not risk the surgery back in December, so they had to wait and see. Imagine being too injured that you cannot have surgery. Apparently, Kenny Omega has something called diverticulosis and diverticulitis, which is really an internal injury. It's not like he tore a muscle or something or knee ligaments. This is digestive tract stuff. I have no idea if this has anything to do with his wrestling career. That maybe all the shots to the midsection that he takes with his high flying actions, or maybe shots to the back a lot with weapons and things. Maybe that rattles around your organs a little bit. But it's more of a life injury than just like a wrestling injury. Put some ice on it, or just get your knee repaired, or Tommy John surgery or something. You're an AEW fan. Have you missed Kenny Omega?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Omega's great. He's fantastic. He's probably one of the better wrestlers in the last, in modern wrestling.
Okay.
He'd always be up, and he's been like the PWI #1 ranking guy at certain points.
Okay.
And he's excellent. So hopefully he heals up, but there's a bump count for everyone, right? At some point people got to hang him up. And
Mm-hmm.
if he's going to change his style or have to hang him up, then he's going to have to, but hopefully he gets better. And if he does hang him up, he had a great career. So Either way.
That's another point. Is that maybe he gets this repaired to the point where he can go on with his life, but having surgery on your gut, your core, maybe that's it for wrestling.
Yeah.
It's not a bone that may heal up stronger than when it was broken.
Yeah, when I saw this news article here, I didn't even know what the word was either. Like
Right?
I never even heard of this. So
Yeah.
it's a big question mark for me. Omega is definitely, again, great wrestler, but hopefully he heals up because he's a very valuable asset for the pro wrestling industry.
Wonderful. How about another person who may be very valuable for pro wrestling industry, who's also been off TV for a while? It's Camille. She was backstage at a recent AEW Dynamite. I believe that was on the 17th. She was talking to people. Comes to us from Fightful.com. They are confirming reports from PW Insider and House of Wrestling that WWE had interest in the former NWA Women's Champion. She was a champion for almost 3 years, dropped the belt at the big NWA event last year that I believe we covered here along with an AEW pay-per-view during one of our Let's Do Something Other Than WWE, Don't Bury the Lead episodes there.
Right.
However, the overtures from the WWE did not prevent her from going to AEW Dynamite backstage on the 17th. As of January 19th, about a week ago, she had not signed with anyone. Camille had a 6-month option with the NWA that would have extended her through the first half of this year. However, she passed on that option. So she apparently thought she could do everything that she had done in NWA and was looking for something else, but apparently had not already had a favorite or there was not a deal for her already in place, just waiting for her to leave. You're an AEW watcher. Would you like to see Camille in AEW, especially since they lost Jade Cargill recently? Would you like to see another legit collegiate professional athlete who can go in the ring like Camille making her way over to AEW? Or do you think you'd rather see her now take your lumps in NXT and go to the WWE? What say you?
I think they need more depth in the women's side in the AEW rather than in WWE. WWE's women's division is it might be the strongest division in any, men's or women's,
Right?
in any wrestling promotion right now. Is
Mm-hmm.
the women's in WWE seems to always outclass the men's, which is pretty amazing. But
Mm-hmm.
I'd say it'd be valuable to have her, in AEW. But it sounds like she's got interest from both and she's playing both sides. So hopefully she gets the most money out of it.
Sure, negotiations, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is her from her match at NWA 75, where I believe Kenzie Page winds up defeating her. Let's see here. Yeah, this was Camille, doing the business properly, dropping the belt as her contract's expiring, and making her way out. She's still, I believe, only 30 years old, so it's not like she's over the hill at all. Even as we admit that women athletically probably have a shorter career than men do. She's still only 30. She's still able to do this, so she might be in line for a big contract here.
Yep.
Good for and you'd like to see her in AEW. That's great news. How about a little preview here for the Royal Rumble? It's that was cheap. That was heat. That was cheap heat. But in a few minutes, it's the Royal Rumble 2024.
That's
it's
right.
January 27th. Tonight we've got 4 matches on the Royal Rumble. Last year we had 5. It's going to be the men's Royal Rumble match, the women's Royal Rumble match, a Universal Championship match with Roman Reigns. We had those again last year. Then they have one other title match on here. This year it's the U.S. title. Last year it was Bianca Belair's title against Alexa Bliss, I believe. The only thing missing that would make it exactly the same as last year was a Mountain Dew Pitch Black match.
Oh boy!
So maybe it's better not to have that and just have 4 on this card here tonight. Which one of these 4 matches are you most looking forward to, John?
Admittedly, I just talked about how strong the women's division was, but probably going to look forward to the men's Royal Rumble because
The men's Royal Rumble, okay.
That'll paint a clearer picture of who is going to win the title from Roman Reigns.
Okay.
And the four-way match, I know they've done a pretty good job building it, and I like all the guys in it, but it just kind of feels like it's a foregone conclusion that Reigns is going to go over again. He's going to pin Styles probably, or Randy Orton. It would be
See
something
that
else.
there? How about the inclusion of Logan Paul and Kevin Owens as the other title match on the card? There is no women's singles match or anything other than the women's 30 wrestler battle royal tonight for the Royal Rumble match.
I like this. I think less is more, right? We're
Okay.
gonna have 2 Royal Rumbles. We don't need a ton of matches in the middle there to
I concur. This might be a fun pay-per-view, especially since in the Women's Royal Rumble, this comes to us from WrestleZone. Quoting Mike Johnson of PW Insider, TNA Knockouts champion Jordan Grace, last minute rumor here, she might be competing in tonight's Women's Royal Rumble match. Apparently, this happened 2 years ago when Mickie James appeared in the Women's Royal Rumble as the TNA Knockouts champion. Cool, not cool? What say you here?
very cool.
Very cool. I think so too. I have not seen Jordan Grace wrestle. We did see her in a cheap heat we did a couple of weeks ago because she was backstage with Bailey and Mercedes Moné, aka Sasha Banks, taking pictures after her title win over Trinity. At the time we were saying, what are Mercedes Moné / Sasha Banks and Bailey doing at a TNA event? And now it becomes, oh yes, Jordan Grace. She may be showing up at the Royal Rumble. Something to watch for tonight in the Women's Royal Rumble. Maybe Jordan Grace will be there, and will she be announced as a TNA Knockouts champion?
I like that, Dom. Very interesting insight. We didn't talk about it before the show. I'm glad we got the surprise. But we're 2 minutes from the Royal Rumble.
We are. Is it time to end the cheap heat? We will see you after the Royal Rumble for the recap. Don't bury the lead, everyone. Find us on your favorite streaming platform. Subscribe on YouTube. That's where the archives of all our cool stuff is.
That's it. Perfect. All right, Dom. We'll talk to you tonight.